couple of pointers that comes to your mind. Anyone? Yeah, go ahead.
Not just the mega event which creates an immediate impact, that there are fans, there are people watching it, but even after the mega event or a big event is over, the impact and the legacy should continue, that people are still interested to read about it, watch it, and be curious to know about it.
Longevity.
Yeah.
Okay. Superb. Absolutely. So any examples that come to your mind when it comes to some sustenance? I mean, we're talking about building a sustainable culture. So any examples that come to your mind?
Somebody mentioned Australia.
Okay. So I'll tell you what I'm trying to address. Okay, I'm trying to address a point which, if you look at it, the answer is very, very simple. On the other side, it could be very, very complex. Yeah. We have got two examples. One example which has a huge legacy, huge history from an India perspective, which is of course cricket. Yeah. And second example, which is quite new, okay, developed over the last couple of years, is kabaddi. Yeah. So the reason I said the answer is simple is because we have got two best practices, perhaps. Okay. Why don't we simply replicate those practices? Why don't we just go to the drawing board and say what has worked for these two sports and what hasn't worked? Yeah. The other way to look at it is cricket. It's taken 30 years for cricket to come where it is, or maybe more. Yeah. And maybe for kabaddi, similar amount of time, but we were not aware of it because it was not commercialized. Yeah. So couple of things which I think we can go back to drawing board and see what worked. Really is a very, very strong grassroots. Yeah. I'm quite aware that lots been spoken about grassroots and fundamentals of grassroots, how it's to be built, what needs to be done. I won't go too deep into that, but most certainly, both these sports have a very, very strong grassroots interaction, which is the reason why we are seeing successes on the back of that. Yeah. Second point that comes to my mind is both these sports are world beaters. Yeah, they're team sports, and as a country, we've been number one, number two consistently for many, many years. I was told today morning that the finals of Kabaddi World Cup rated 3 All India on a 4+ base, which is an unheard of a rating from a television point of view. Yeah, of course, couldn't have been possible because of a great broadcast, great marketing, great grassroots, great performance, great talent. Yeah. Third thing that comes to my mind is something which we are ignoring to a large extent. Things around analytics. Yeah. As a sporting culture, if we have to really perform well, I don't think we are using technology and therefore analytics around technology, which is enabling us or enabling any sporting nation. Somebody spoke about Australia. Australia is a great example of talent plus technology and data. You take any Australian team, any sport, they use data is at their core, and their entire talent development is around how smartly they can use data and analytics to build talent to make a smarter performer and a world beater. So if these are the bucket points which have helped us grow two big sports in the country, what are the learnings that possibly we can take for football as a sport? Yeah, I was very impressed to look at the Khel Mahakumbh model that Mr. Pradhan presented in the morning. It's really very heartening to see a model like this in a state of Gujarat. I think as many states who can actually go back and replicate that model will really help not only football but a lot of sports. I'm told 50 sports is what Gujarat actually invests in from a grassroots development point. So coming back to that, what has worked for Gujarat, what has worked for cricket, what has worked for Kabaddi to an extent, is a very, very strong structure on grassroots. Yeah. Today we are talking about grassroots, we're talking about schools, we're talking about colleges, okay, what I don't see as a parent is investing my son's or my daughter's time from an education standpoint in sport. Can I look at sport as an alternate career? If we are not doing so, if we are not enabling a parent, if you are not enabling a student to look at sport as a promising career opportunity for his lifetime, it's going to be really very tough for parents to be able to investing time and allowing their children to invest time on sports, because the easier route out is to go to any university and get a graduation certificate of a commerce or a science or a BA stream. Yeah. So therefore, a structure at a school and college level, which enables a student, enables a parent to possibly encourage its son to take it professionally, really is the need of an hour. You may call it grassroots, you may call it anything. I think a structured program at school and college level, I think, is the need of an hour. Second point which I would want to make is a long and sustained season of football. I know there is a lot of time invested on a lot of things in terms of I-League, ISL, putting a structure to the larger league or so. But a sustained engagement with the fan on ground is very, very important. Yeah. Also, you may have a league which is spanned around 7 months or 8 months. Yeah. Is it going to be sustainable to have matches every day? Okay. Therefore, the point I'm trying to make is the schedule of a league. Is a league scheduled to play every day? Is it scheduled to play twice a week or thrice a week? Is going to be a very, very important point going forward. I don't think it's fair on any fan or any audience's part to expect him to go and sit in a stadium or watch a television match every day, at least 8 or 9 months continuously, day some sport or the other. So therefore, schedule and time is the second point I would like to make. Third is a professional approach to fitness. While it's important to say grassroots and development, fitness is going to be a very integral part of talent, and unless and until we have a very, very fit, world-class talent, the performance is going to be very deterrent and very, very much important going forward. Therefore, are we investing enough in making sure they are match ready, they are fit enough to score at a highest level? Fourth point is around technology. While broadcasters are using technology in a very, very efficient way, is it the same story at the end of a talent or the clubs going forward and in all the leagues, why football alone? Yeah. So use of technology is something which is going to be determined by how more efficient are we going to be from a development standpoint. Fifth and last point I would like to make is around the calendar of these leagues. So if it's an ISL, is ISL forms into a program or a time frame which takes care of most of the world leagues? Because if you see world over, the sustenance and the success of these leagues are determined on a couple of factors. Your local talent that comes from overseas, and therefore, these are the two aspects which determine the global calendar of that particular sport. So very important to understand if I'm going to have a league. So if take an example of IPL, for example. IPL happens every summer, and we all know come first week, second week April, IPL is going to start. Yeah, and IPL today is a part of a global calendar. I mean, most of the cricket playing nations do not have their annual fixtures around that time. So whether it is football, whether it is kabaddi, whether it is badminton, whether it is wrestling, an annualized calendar aligning with the global community is again going to be very, very important. Last, to just sum up, so if we do all these things, what's going to happen? At least as a country, we have embarked a journey of becoming a sporting nation. Yes, there are issues from a talent point, issues from sustenance point, issue from profitability point, issue from grassroots, issues on infrastructure. But we are forgetting one thing. The journey has just begun 3 or 4 years back, okay? The best practices, even if you take cricket, it's a 30-year back story. So we all know that it's going to be you need to have a 10-year, 15-year visibility. But are we patient enough from an investment standpoint for the next 10 to 15 years? I think we should. Because if we are trying to possibly cover the gap of 30 years in 3 years or maybe 5 years or 6 years, I think we will do many things which may be incorrect from the future of the entire league culture. So therefore, my final takeout would be we need to be patient at least for a 10 to 15 year period. Stay invested in this sports, do the right things. We in our own country have got great learnings from 2 sports. There are learnings within football from the global community. I think slowly, steadily, if we start replicating that and try to see how best we can use those best practices to suit our needs, I think the road is not going to be too far and not going to be so tough. Thank you. Any questions? Happy to take.
Anything? We'll go into the next session. Oh.
We'll take a short break here for some tea, coffee before we regroup in 15 minutes, please. Thank you so much.